So let's dive into a story that's been told for thousands of years. It's from the Bhagavata Purana, and it is just this incredible tale about faith, the trap of ego, and our connection to the world around us, the very nature that keeps us alive. And that really is the question at the heart of this whole thing, isn't it? It's about what happens when an ancient, unquestioned tradition smacks right into a totally fresh, simple perspective. This one question sets an entire village on a collision course with a deity. Okay, let's get into it. All right, so let's set the scene. We're in this beautiful, bustling village called Vrindavan, and the energy there is electric because everyone is gearing up for this huge annual ceremony, a tradition they believe their entire survival hinges on.
So, for as long as anyone can remember, this has been the way of things. They gather all these offerings, prepare these elaborate rituals, all to please Indra, the king of the heavens, the god of rain, because in their minds, he's the one in charge of the weather that feeds their crops and their cattle.
But then, this one year, everything changes. A young child, Krishna, he's watching all this happen, and he just asks this incredibly simple, yet world-shaking question, why? Why are we offering all our devotion to some distant god up in the sky we've never even met? You know, it's exactly the kind of question that can shake the very foundations of what everyone thinks they know. And this is where things get really interesting, right? It's a total shift in thinking. Krishna makes this simple argument. Why are we worshiping this abstract idea, this distant power, when the real source of everything we have is literally right in front of our eyes? He points to Govardhan Hill, the mountain that gives them grass for their cows, fresh water from its streams, and rich soil for their crops. He says, let's honor what's real, what's tangible, the nature that's directly supporting us.
You know, what Krishna is saying, it just makes sense. And the villagers, they're completely convinced. So, in this really radical move, they totally change gears. They take all the food they've prepared and make this gigantic feast called Annakut. It's a mountain of food offered with pure love and gratitude directly to Govardhan Hill.
Okay, but here's the thing. What do you think happens when a god, a really powerful one, who's used to getting all this attention, suddenly gets ignored? Let's just say that power that's been taken for granted does not react well to being challenged. And this is exactly where our story takes a very dark, very dangerous turn. So way up in his heavenly kingdom, Indra looks down and he sees this. He sees them worshiping a mountain instead of him. And he is furious. His ego is deeply wounded. And a wounded ego, whether it's in a god or in a person, can be this blinding, destructive force. He feels disrespected and he's not about to let it slide. So Indra doesn't just get mad. He decides to make them pay. He unleashes, everything he's got. Apocalyptic storms, rain that never ends. He's not trying to teach them a lesson anymore. He is trying to completely wipe Vrindavan off the map. So just imagine the terror. The village is literally on the verge of being washed away. Homes are flooding, everyone's life is in danger, and there is nowhere to run. What can they do against the fury of a god? How could they possibly survive this? And this is the moment the whole story just flips. It goes from absolute crisis to a flat-out miracle. Because what Krishna does next is, well, it's just unbelievable. With just the little finger on his left hand, he lifts the entire mountain. And just like that, the very same mountain they had just honored, it becomes their shield, their savior. Krishna holds it up effortlessly like a giant umbrella. And every single person, every single animal, they all huddle underneath, completely safe and dry as the storm rages outside. And get this wasn't just for a few minutes. For seven straight days and nights, as Indra just keeps hammering away with rain and wind, Krishna just stands there, smiling. He's holding up a mountain without the slightest bit of strain. It's his divine strength against Indra's wounded pride, and there's no contest. So, after a full week of throwing a cosmic tantrum with literally no effect, the storm finally stops. But it's not because Indra won. It's because he lost. His power, his rage, all of it was useless. And that leads to this incredible conclusion. And in that moment of defeat, Indra finally gets it. He realizes that Krishna's power isn't about ego or anger. It's about something so much bigger, pure protective love. He is completely humbled. He stops the storm, comes down from his heavenly throne, and bows down to this child, apologizing for his arrogance. And as a sign of this newfound respect, Indra gives Krishna a new name, Govinda. And this isn't just a name, it's a title. It's Indra acknowledging that Krishna is the true protector, not just of the cows, but of the earth itself, of all of nature.
So, when you boil it all down, what's the big takeaway from this amazing story? Well, there are a few really powerful lessons here. First, that ego is a path to downfall, that real faith brings real protection, that we have to respect the nature that sustains us, and that true greatness isn't about power, it's about humility. And ultimately, the God always protects those who are devoted.
And that really brings it all back to us, doesn't it? This ancient story prompts us to look around in our own lives and ask, what's my Govardhan Hill? What are the real, tangible things that sustain me? The people, the places, the principles. And how can I do a better job of honoring them?